Hi, my name's Mathew Begbie and I'm here today to talk about selection methods in the context of human resource management. So to put things into context, selection methods come after pre-recruitment and recruitment processes. And the different selection methods that I'll be talking about include interviews, biographical information forms, tests, assessment centres and references, which we've all probably heard about before. So with interviews, the first peer-reviewed journal that I looked at was, and one that I found quite interesting, was that human resource practitioners gave the highest hireability ratings to job applicants described as conscientious, so wishing to do one's work or duty well and thoroughly, and to those assessed by an interview. So in the modern world, in HR management, interviews are still very much the go-to when it comes to hiring potential applicants. So they're designed to predict the future on the basis of applicants' responses to inquiries and can be structured or unstructured and include a panel, group or stress interview. Types of questions can be behavioural based, competency based, yes or no, double barreled, factual or stress and pressure type questions. So interview strengths and weaknesses. So interviews reveal candidates' job knowledge and communication skills and allows for compatibility assessment. It also allows applicants to ask questions about the job itself, so they might be seeking more information and so that they can work out whether the job is the right fit for them. Weaknesses include decisions can be made within the first few minutes of an interview. Interviewers can form stereotypes of characteristics required for success of the job. So biographical information. So moving on to the next one, resumes or information blanks. So information blanks are prepared by recruiters for candidates to fill out, which involves a list of standard questions. And I've put in here social media, which in the modern world is something that a lot of companies look at. So in 2009, again, this peer-reviewed journal, so this is going back 9 years ago, they were starting to look at social networking websites. It's a bit of a phenomenon, and it's well known now that you want to make sure that your social networking website's pretty clean for human resource practitioners when they go looking for you and do your background checks. So strengths of biographical information include factual information, contains relevant information, easy to compare candidates, and useful when large numbers of positions are to fill. Weaknesses include information provided may be false or exaggerated and may be difficult for non-traditional applicants to demonstrate job ability. So I just want to go onto social media, and I did a bit of a search on the web, and what I found was that 60% of employers use social networking sites to research job candidates. So that's up from 11% a decade ago when the survey was first conducted. It is advised that you know your digital identity and remove any dirt that is on your social networking website. So I think we all fall into the trap sometimes of our friends tagging us in posts that probably aren't appropriate for the internet in terms of our work colleagues or just in general even. I mean, it's something that happens on our birthdays. A couple of photos come back to haunt us and all that sort of stuff, so you might need to change your privacy settings or something like that. Moving on, so tests again, another selection method. So it includes personality, work sample, and cognitive ability tests. Personality tests generally test extroversion, emotional stability, agreeableness, conscientiousness, and intelligence. Work sample tests include typing tests, driving tests, maths tests, and software use tests. And cognitive ability include verbal, problem solving, learning, and IQ. Weaknesses. Tests have errors and none of them are perfect predictors, and strengths can indicate how candidates deal under pressure. and their ability to adapt and problem solve as well as show their existing skills. Assessment centres. So assessment centres is something I didn't know a lot about. So what they incorporate activities such as work sample tests, in-tray exercises, structured interviews, problem analysis, psychological testing, role-playing, leaderless group exercises. Strengths, very good predictors of job performance and behaviours. Interpersonal skills count strongly. Weaknesses, very expensive and time-consuming, may overlook suitable candidates. And then references, so something we should all know about. I know on my resume, I'll make sure I choose the right references, ones that'll speak highly of me, and that can be a weakness of the references, of the reference selection method, is that generally people contact the reference of a job candidate and that they might give all positive rather than negative feedback on the candidate. So a background check of the candidate through discussion with past employers and others such as customers and teachers. Strengths can be used to verify information, may encourage applicants to provide accurate information and can be very revealing. And weaknesses, this is what I just spoke about, candidates only give names of people they know will be positive. And Freedom of Information Act can impede information given by a referee. And I did another search on the net, which again probably brings up a modern day dilemma, that's discrimination and diversity in the workplace. So basically it's something to consider when you go through your selection methods. So if your business has any involvement with public sectors or has a company policy regarding diversity, you'll need to be able to demonstrate your commitments with hard facts from time to time. Where a company advertises commitments to diversity and a desire to reduce discrimination, they will be required to demonstrate their progress towards these goals. So, yeah, what that is essentially saying is that there needs to be a commitment these days to not discriminate against a certain race, I suppose, or a certain genre of people or demographic of people, I should say, and that's something that needs to be put into the selection process. So something to be considered in the when you're choosing a selection method. You need to ensure that you're not discriminating. And just to finish off, I just wanted to talk about which selection method is used the most. So a survey of the Australian top 500 companies, 90% of organisations always use an interview. 47% of those interviews are behavioural. 22% of those interviews are unstructured. 48% of organisations always conduct more than one interview. 46% always have more than one interviewer, with the panel made up of HR, line managers and external consultants. Excuse me. 87% of organisations always use biodata, and 81% of organisations always use references. So that's it from me, selection methods. Hopefully you've learned something from that, and I certainly have after studying it this semester. So thank you very much.